Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Veenker. I am on the executive board of the International Casting Directors Network, which is a professional association that represents casting directors from 25 different countries and counting. And today I'm very excited because I am going to be talking with Nancy Bishop, who is the casting director of the latest Borat film, and we're going to find out a little bit about how she works and talk about the casting profession. So let me invite her into the room. And there she is. Hi, Nancy.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Oh, sorry, but my dog wasn't barking before, but now, of course, now that I'm on Zoom, he's barking. Sorry about
Mine does it all the time.
that.
So I was just saying that I'm super excited to be talking to you today because I recently saw the new Borat film, and when I saw your name in the credits at the end, I just was jumping out of my seat, excited, because I know that you had something to do with the casting of Maria Bakalova. And I just wanted to talk to you and see if we get a little bit of the backstory on it. I'm just so excited that it's a member of ICDN who found this new
Thank you.
actress. So, what can
Thank
you
you.
tell us?
Thank you so much. No, and that's what we're all about at the ICDN is celebrating our profession. So, thank you so much for noticing it and for giving me credit for it. And, I mean, I officially have to turn down interviews about Borat because I signed an NDA, and the production is very strict about that. That they don't want anybody on the crew. I mean, Sasha is very protective about the way he films and everything. And of course, he's a comic genius, and he really it's really incredible what he achieves, and I have a lot of respect for him. So I need to respect my NDA in the production, but I'm happy to talk about casting and about casting on productions like this where there's a huge search.
Yeah,
And I think that I can talk about our profession without breaking the NDA.
sure.
And I mean, I know you've been in this situation too, Lana, where you've done a huge search, and then it's kind of never mentioned that there was a casting director involved.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, can you
And
tell us, how did you first meet Maria? Had you worked with her before, or was she a
I
completely
hadn't,
unknown?
no. So I did. She was on my list because I go to lots of film festivals, and Karlovy Vary is the big film festival in the Czech Republic, and there was a Bulgarian film that year at Karlovy Vary, and she was in that film. So she was on my list, but actually, I also in all I did, it was a search. It was a targeted search. At some point it got out there that it was an open call. I wouldn't call it an open call. The search I did, I would call it a targeted search. And so we were looking all through, me and my staff, and I have to give credit to my staff too, because I had Allison in the London office, and I had at the time Bara in the Prague office, and Alison Murchie in the London office, mostly working on this. And then later I had Sophie Riddell and Ivo Conci, excuse me, in the Prague office. So it was, a team of us, and it was a lot of work. Um, but we looked in Prague, of course, and we looked all over Eastern Europe. And in each country, I have contacts. And so my contact in Bulgaria is actually an actor named Julian Kostov. He's a really good actor, but he's also an entrepreneur. He's one of these guys who can't sit still. So he has seen a need in Bulgaria because it's one of those countries where they don't really have it properly separated between casting and agenting, which is a widespread problem in some of the smaller countries in Europe. But he saw a need for an agent, really. And so he did not already have her on his books. But when I told him I needed, a young girl and blah, 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 he did a search too. And so he caught her also just as she was coming out of drama school, and he caught the students coming out of drama school.
Mhm.
So yeah, so he was the one who actually, and of course he speaks Bulgarian. I don't. So, I have to have these contacts in each country that help me.
Yeah, yeah. And how was it that you came to be working on the film in the first place?
Well, because I think that I have a reputation for knowing that talent pool, because I have been living in. I mean, I've diversified, and I now have an office in London too. But for the first stage of my career, I was doing locals casting in Prague, and then I became a kind of go-to person for Eastern Europe and for the Slavic countries. Um, and well, they're not all Slavic countries, but Eastern Europe and Russia and etc. So I was recommended, I think, by a couple of different people. I know for sure that David Minkowski was in Prague, was one person who recommended me, and I think it came from a couple of different directions.
Yeah. Well, I know, I mean, in the 10 plus years that I've known you, I know that you have been a champion for that talent pool for Eastern European actors and Slavic actors. And there's probably nobody with a deeper knowledge of that particular group of talent. So, I mean, obviously, Sasha was in really good hands. Like, how does having that kind of experience and background inform the relationship that you have with the director, with, you know, would putting together a cast like that even been possible, without somebody with your expertise, I guess I would say?
Well, I mean, you're very flattering. Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean, it's true that I have worked hard over the years to, develop those relationships and to go to all those film festivals and to see all of those films and to make lists and to know those people. So, yes, I mean, I would hope that the answer is yes. I mean, you know, uh,
I think it's just part of the behind the scenes work that people don't think about, like they don't realize all the work that went into casting before you even get hired on a project, Like if you hadn't done all that research, gone to see the shows, gone to the film festivals, and had that body of work underneath your belt, I mean, a search like this would take 3 times, 10 times as long, I think.
yeah, well, I mean, as it stands, it was quite long, and we did see hundreds of actors, uh, both personally, and through self tapes.
Yeah.
So it is very laborious. Um, and and again, I want to speak just generally about just not just this project, but many projects. Oh, you have your puppy.
He likes to be on all the Zoom calls.
So now, yeah, see, my dog just likes to bark during my. So now we have to explain to people that it's very late here where I am. I'm in Central European time, still morning for Lana. So I'm having my Veenker, my little wine.
And we're in the middle of the US elections, so there's understandably a bit of anxiety right now.
A lot of anxiety. I was going to try not to drink this week, but yeah, I'm letting myself have a glass of wine because it is huge stress.
Well, I've worked with you and also seen you teaching in many different countries, teaching actors, and I know that a lot of them give you credit for getting them opportunities to audition for projects like this. What are a few things that actors can do if they want to get seen for like American productions or high profile international productions? Like, what are a few things that they can do to increase their chances?
Well, they need to be on all of the databases, of course. So the obvious ones are, Spotlight in Europe is not just for UK actors anymore. There's eTalenta, e-talenta.eu. There's Cast Upload is a good one that started in Germany. There's Casting Networks. So they need to get themselves on there. They need to have a meaningful social media interaction, which means they're posting, not just, selfies, but, meaningful content that is going to also be helpful to other people. So it's not like you're just promoting yourself all the time. And also, I always say that, and this is general. This is general for all actors, not just Eastern European actors. Is just to if the phone isn't ringing, make your own work, and that could mean setting up a YouTube channel. It could mean doing a one-person show. It could mean, writing a play. But there's many ways. There's many platforms. There's many ways to showcase your own work and to keep busy and to hone your craft.
Yeah. That has definitely changed a lot over the last 20 years. Like, it's so much more feasible now to produce really good content on your own without having millions of dollars like that. We didn't have that when we were coming up.
Yeah, when we were in drama school, like the only possibility was to do plays, or you could do the fringe plays, and that's still a good thing to do too, by the way. I mean, well, not during COVID, but will be again. But yeah, we didn't have anything like this access to, a million hits on YouTube or anything like that.
You couldn't make your own movies. It was shot on real film.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't afford it. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
What about with directors? Like, a lot of times on films, you start working with a director and they immediately want you to start attaching names to get their project off the ground. Sometimes they don't have that kind of money. One of the things that's so great, I think, about working with a casting director is we know who's about to pop before they're about to become famous. Like, anybody who attached Maria Bakalova to their film right before Borat came out is like rubbing their hands together in glee right now, because she's like the hottest thing on, I mean, she's everywhere. She's on all talk shows. She's at the top of IMDb. She's, people, there's Oscar buzz. So I know she's done a few projects since she filmed Borat, and those filmmakers, I'm sure, are very happy to have her in their projects now, because it elevates their projects.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you ever done that before, where you were able to advise a director, like, don't go after this big, expensive, pain in the ass actor who's hard to work with? Like, here's somebody up and coming.
I did. She did do an audition for me for something, but it was that particular production is not scheduled to shoot until much later. It was more of an exploratory audition. So, I mean, the thing is, she's not right for all parts, right? So, I mean, I think we've all had that experience of, I'm sure you've had this experience too, of that's our job. We know who's up and coming. And I have had that experience before. And actually, my friend Lucy Lennox has a great story about, she said she got fired for recommending Michael Fassbender on a job once. Oh my God. They're like, oh, who's that? And I had it with Tom Hardy once too. I mean, I knew that Tom Hardy was going to be big, and they were like, oh, why would we cast him? So I think we've all had that experience before, of because we know exactly who's coming up, and yeah, the filmmaker is usually only interested in who's big now. Yeah.
I mean, did you have a feeling about Maria when you saw her auditions? Did you have a feeling that it was just going to elevate the project in this crazy way, or was the reaction a huge surprise to you?
Well, no, I thought she was great, but there was a lot of secrecy about the project too, and I'm really happy it worked out the way it did. That's all I can say. Without, like I say, I can't give away a lot about the process.
Yeah. So now you're working between Prague and London. Do you have any exciting projects coming up, or anything fun that you're going to be doing in the upcoming months? I mean, I know it's kind of hard with COVID, but. Well,
I have the same situation that I always have right now, which is that I'm not allowed to talk about really any of the projects that I'm casting right now. But there is a project that maybe, I don't know when this interview is out, but it's called The Liberator, and it's on Netflix, and I think it's the 11th of November that it opens. And I am excited about that for a couple of reasons. One is that it's an interesting subject matter written by Jeb Stewart about it's a real life story of Felix Sparks, who was, sorry, I just said, was that his name? I'm blanking now. That might be wrong. But anyway, it's about the platoon that liberated Dachau, the American platoon, and it was composed of Mexican American and Native American soldiers. So it's a very interesting story to begin with, but it's also told in a very interesting way because it's we shot the actors live action, but it will look like a graphic novel. It's layered over, so it actually looks like animation, but you have the actual actors doing it in it's called Triscope, I believe, and so it's quite. It should be quite interesting, and I loved working on it. So I'm really eager to see that, and I would recommend people to watch that.
We'll try to get the interview up quickly so that it's still it's still playing.
Well, but I mean, it will be on Netflix for a while, I suppose. So,
Yeah, yeah. Right. Well, that's all very exciting, and I'm just very excited to see one of our own making such a huge splash with this movie, with this actress, and just it just really goes to show what having a casting director on your project can do for your project.
well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for noticing it, Lana. And no, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thank you for all of your work on the ICDN as well.